Did you know that 1 in 6 elderly Americans live in poverty? It's a startling statistic that most of us overlook. But when Elon Musk encountered the face of this crisis on a rainy street corner, he didn't just see a number. He saw a human being. His reaction to this elderly flower seller has sparked a conversation about wealth, compassion, and social responsibility. Are you ready to challenge your perceptions of one of the world's most controversial figures? Picture this. A rainy Seattle afternoon, droplets cascading down sleek skyscrapers. On one corner stands Elon Musk, tech mogul extraordinaire, his Tesla idling nearby. On the opposite side, an elderly man hunches over a cart of wilting flowers, his weathered hands trembling in the cold. The contrast couldn't be starker. Musk, wrapped in a designer coat, represents the pinnacle of innovation and wealth. The flower seller, with his threadbare jacket and worn shoes, embodies a struggle many of us overlook. It's a scene straight out of a movie, but this is real life unfolding on a busy street. What made Musk pause? Was it the man's determination, still peddling his wares despite the downpour? Or perhaps a flicker of recognition, a reminder of his own grandfather who once struggled to make ends meet? The elderly man's resolve is palpable. His eyes, though tired, scan the street for potential customers. Each flower in his cart represents hope. Hope for a meal, for warmth, for another day of survival. He shivers, pulls his thin jacket tighter, but doesn't abandon his post. Musk's reaction is hard to read at first. Surprise flashes across his face, followed by a furrowed brow. Is it curiosity? Concern? Or something deeper stirring within the billionaire's mind? For a moment, Musk stands frozen, raindrops pelting his expensive shoes. Passers-by hurry past, umbrellas bobbing, oblivious to the unfolding scene. But Musk can't look away. His mind races, perhaps recalling statistics about elderly poverty or contemplating the vast gulf between his world and the flower sellers. What's going through Musk's head in these crucial seconds? Is he weighing the optics of approaching the man? Calculating the most efficient way to help? Or is he simply grappling with a surge of unexpected empathy? Whatever the internal struggle, Musk makes his decision. He takes a step forward, then another. The crowd around him starts to notice whispers rippling through the wet air. Musk, the man who dreams of colonizing Mars, is about to have an encounter much closer to home. As he approaches the elderly flower seller, the atmosphere crackles with tension. Onlookers hold their breath, phones at the ready. But Musk's next move would leave them all stunned, challenging everything they thought they knew about the controversial billionaire. Musk's designer shoes splash through puddles as he closes the gap between two worlds. The elderly man's eyes widen with a mix of hope and fear. What transpires next between these unlikely conversationalists will challenge everything you thought you knew about empathy, wealth, and human connection. As Musk approaches, he instinctively positions himself to shield the older man from the relentless rain. The tech billionaire's imposing figure casts a shadow over the modest flower cart, creating a temporary haven from the downpour. Onlookers watch in disbelief as Musk, known for his grand visions of electric cars and space travel, engages with a street vendor. "These flowers, they're beautiful. How long have you been selling them?" Musk asks, his voice surprisingly gentle. The elderly man hesitates, his weathered hands trembling slightly as he arranges a bouquet. It's clear Musk's interest goes beyond mere small talk. The crowd grows, smartphones emerging to capture this surreal moment. Whispers ripple through the gathering, a mix of excitement and skepticism. Is this a publicity stunt or something more genuine? Slowly, the elderly man's story unfolds. His name is Frank, and he's been selling flowers on this corner for over 2 decades. "It's not much, but it helps me get by," he explains, his voice barely audible above the rain. Frank reveals he's a retired teacher, his pension barely covering his basic needs. The flower stand is his lifeline, a way to maintain his dignity and independence. As Frank speaks, Musk listens intently, his expression softening. The billionaire's usual fast-paced demeanor gives way to patience and curiosity. He asks thoughtful questions, genuinely interested in Frank's life and struggles. The tension in the air is palpable. How will Musk, a man often criticized for his wealth and perceived detachment, respond to this personal story of hardship. The onlookers lean in, eager to witness the interaction unfold. What happens next catches everyone off guard. Musk's face shows a range of emotions: empathy, concern, and perhaps a hint of guilt. He shares a personal anecdote about his own grandfather's financial struggles, drawing a surprising parallel between his family history and Frank's current situation. The crowd watches in amazement as Musk, the man behind Tesla and SpaceX, connects on a deeply human level with a stranger on the street. His genuine empathy is evident in his body language and the warmth in his voice. This isn't the aloof tech mogul often portrayed in the media. This is a man capable of profound compassion. As their conversation draws to a close, there's a sense that something significant has transpired. Musk's encounter with Frank has revealed a side of him that few have seen. A man who, despite his wealth and status, can still be moved by the struggles of an ordinary person. But just when everyone thought they had witnessed the climax of this unexpected encounter, Musk's next action would leave them all speechless. The real surprise was yet to come, and it would challenge everything they thought they knew about the controversial billionaire. The crowd's collective breath caught as Musk reached for his wallet. But what happened next wasn't just about money. It was a moment that would redefine generosity and challenge our assumptions about the world's richest man. How could a simple transaction on a rainy street corner spark a movement that would touch thousands of lives? Musk's hand emerged from his pocket, not with a crisp bill, but with his entire wallet. The onlookers leaned in, phones raised, as the tech mogul began to speak. "Frank," he said, his voice carrying over the patter of rain, "I want to buy all of your flowers, every single one." The elderly man's eyes widened in disbelief. Musk continued, his tone warm and sincere. "But I don't want to take them with me. I want you to give them away to everyone here. Spread a little joy on this gloomy day." As Frank struggled to process Musk's words, the billionaire was already in motion. He pulled out a stack of bills, far more than the modest flower cart could ever be worth, and pressed them into Frank's trembling hands. The contrast was stark. Musk's manicured fingers against Frank's weathered palms, a physical representation of two vastly different worlds colliding. The crowd buzzed with excitement. This wasn't the Elon Musk they knew from headlines and tweets. Gone was the brash tech titan, replaced by a man showing genuine compassion. People whispered and pointed, struggling to reconcile this act of kindness with their preconceived notions of the controversial figure. Frank's reaction was nothing short of heart-wrenching. Tears welled up in his eyes, mixing with the raindrops on his cheeks. His voice cracked as he tried to thank Musk, his words barely audible. But the gratitude in his eyes spoke volumes. For Frank, this wasn't just about the money. It was a recognition of his humanity, a validation of his struggles. As Frank began to hand out flowers to the stunned bystanders, the atmosphere shifted. Strangers smiled at each other, accepting blooms with murmurs of thanks. The dreary day seemed a little brighter, a little warmer. Musk stood back, watching the scene unfold with a look of quiet satisfaction. But how would this act of generosity impact Frank's life beyond this rainy afternoon? The immediate relief was evident, the weight of financial worry visibly lifting from his shoulders. Yet the true significance of Musk's gesture extended far beyond the monetary value. It was a lifeline, a chance for Frank to catch his breath and perhaps find a more sustainable path forward. As the last flower found a new home, Frank turned to Musk, his eyes shining with a mix of tears and newfound hope. "Mr. Musk," he said, his voice steadier now, "you've given me more than just money. You've given me dignity." The simplicity and power of his words hung in the air, a testament to the profound impact of human kindness. Musk nodded, a rare moment of humility from a man often perceived as arrogant. He placed a hand on Frank's shoulder, leaned in, and said something that only Frank could hear. Whatever those words were, they brought a smile to the elderly man's face that seemed to erase years of hardship. As Musk turned to leave, the crowd parted, many still in shock at what they had witnessed. But this wasn't the end of the story. In fact, it was just the beginning. The ripple effect of this simple act on a rainy street corner was about to spread far beyond anyone's imagination, challenging perceptions and inspiring change in ways no one could have predicted. We've all seen Elon Musk's public persona, the tech visionary, the outspoken billionaire. But what if everything we thought we knew about him was built on a misunderstanding? This encounter on a rainy street corner was about to peel back layers of complexity, revealing a side of Musk that challenges our very notion of success. To understand Musk's motivation, we need to look beyond the headlines and into his past. Born in South Africa, Musk didn't always live a life of luxury. His childhood was marked by bullying and family struggles. These experiences shaped his worldview, instilling in him a deep empathy for those facing adversity. But there's more to the story. Musk's grandfather, Joshua Haldeman, was a chiropractor who often provided free services to those who couldn't afford healthcare. This early exposure to compassion and social responsibility left an indelible mark on young Elon. It's not hard to imagine how seeing Frank, the elderly flower seller, might have stirred memories of his grandfather's kindness. The tension between Musk's public image and this private moment of compassion is striking. We're used to seeing him as a brash innovator, launching rockets and electric cars. But here, on a rain-soaked street, we witnessed a different Musk, one who paused his busy life to connect with a stranger in need. This encounter challenges our perceptions of wealthy tech leaders. We often assume that success in the tech world requires a certain detachment from human concerns. But Musk's actions suggest otherwise. They remind us that empathy and innovation aren't mutually exclusive. In fact, understanding human needs and experiences can drive more meaningful technological progress. The importance of human connection, even in the tech-driven world Musk inhabits, can't be overstated. In an age of artificial intelligence and virtual reality, this simple act of kindness serves as a powerful reminder. It shows that no amount of technological advancement can replace the impact of one human reaching out to another. Will this event change how people view Musk? It's certainly possible. This glimpse into his compassionate side might soften his image in the public eye. But more importantly, it could inspire others in positions of power to look for opportunities to make a difference in their communities. What this moment reveals about Musk's values is profound. It suggests that beneath the ambition and the drive for innovation, there's a deep-seated desire to improve lives. This isn't just about creating flashy new technologies, it's about using resources and influence to lift others up. The human side of success, as demonstrated by Musk's actions, is often overlooked. We tend to focus on the end results, the wealth, the inventions, the accolades. But this encounter reminds us that true success includes the ability to connect with others, to see their struggles, and to offer help when possible. As news of Musk's act of kindness began to spread, it became clear that the impact of this moment wouldn't be confined to that rainy street corner. The ripple effect was about to reach far beyond Frank and the onlookers, challenging assumptions and inspiring change in ways no one could have predicted. Just as ripples in a pond can grow into waves, Musk's encounter with Frank was about to set off a chain reaction. But not everyone was ready to accept this new image of the tech mogul. As the story gained traction, a battle between cynicism and hope began to unfold on social media platforms worldwide. Within hours of the incident, eyewitness accounts and shaky smartphone videos flooded the internet. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok lit up with posts about Musk's unexpected act of kindness. The hashtag #MuskFlowerMan started trending, with users sharing their reactions and interpretations of the event. But as quickly as the praise poured in, so did the skepticism. Critics questioned the authenticity of the story, suggesting it might be a carefully orchestrated PR stunt. "Convenient timing for some good press, don't you think?" one user tweeted. Others speculated about hidden motives, wondering if Musk was trying to distract from recent controversies surrounding his companies. The reactions showcased a spectrum of emotions. Many expressed admiration, praising Musk for his generosity and humility. "This is the Elon we need more of," one comment read. Others shared personal stories of unexpected kindness, inspired by Musk's actions. On the flip side, cynics rolled their eyes, dismissing the incident as insignificant compared to larger issues of wealth inequality. Interestingly, the event sparked discussions about generational divides. Younger users praised Musk for bridging the gap between tech billionaires and everyday people, while older generations debated the long-term impact of such gestures. The story challenged stereotypes about both the elderly and the ultra-wealthy, forcing people to reconsider their preconceptions. As the online debate raged, many wondered how Musk would respond to the growing attention. Would he acknowledge the incident, downplay it, or simply ignore the buzz altogether? The anticipation built as people refreshed their feeds, waiting for any sign of a response from the enigmatic billionaire. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity in internet time, Musk broke his silence. In a characteristically concise tweet, he wrote, "Kindness costs nothing. Frank taught me more than I could ever repay. Let's all look for our Frank moments." The tweet was accompanied by a simple flower emoji. This confirmation sent shockwaves through social media. Musk's words hinted at a deeper meaning behind the encounter, suggesting it wasn't just about money or flowers, but about human connection and the value of compassion. His tweet prompted a new wave of discussions about the responsibilities of the wealthy and the power of small acts of kindness. But while the online world buzzed with reactions and debates, something more profound was happening away from the screens. The real change, the kind that doesn't always make headlines, was unfolding in quiet corners and everyday interactions. Musk's encounter with Frank had set something in motion that would touch lives in ways no one could have predicted. Away from the digital noise, Frank returned to his modest home, unaware that his life was about to change forever. What transpired in the days following his meeting with Musk? The ripple effects of that rainy afternoon would reach far beyond a simple bouquet of flowers, touching lives in ways that no one, not even Elon himself, could have anticipated. In the immediate aftermath of his encounter with Musk, Frank found himself in a state of disbelief. The generous sum he received felt almost unreal, like a dream that might vanish at any moment. He kept the money hidden, afraid to spend it, as if using it might break the spell. But as days passed, hope began to take root. Frank allowed himself to imagine a life free from the constant worry of making ends meet. He started small, treating himself to a warm meal at a local diner, a luxury he hadn't enjoyed in years. The taste of hot coffee and a full breakfast was a simple pleasure that brought tears to his eyes. The changes in Frank's life were both immediate and profound. He no longer had to brave the elements to sell flowers, giving his aching joints a much-needed rest. He could afford to fix the leaky roof that had plagued him for winters on end. The persistent chill that had seeped into his bones began to fade as he turned up the thermostat without fear of the electricity bill. Perhaps the most significant impact was on Frank's emotional well-being. The constant stress of financial insecurity had taken its toll over the years, leaving him isolated and withdrawn. Now, with a buffer of safety, Frank felt a weight lift from his shoulders. He smiled more, engaged with neighbors he had previously avoided, and even reached out to old friends he had lost touch with. Frank's family too felt the ripple effects of Musk's kindness. His daughter, who had been struggling to balance her own family's needs with her father's care, found relief. She no longer had to choose between buying groceries for her children and medication for her dad. The entire family dynamic shifted, with stress giving way to moments of joy and connection. As weeks turned into months, a question lingered. Would this change be lasting, or would Frank find himself back where he started once the money ran out? This uncertainty created a tension between hope for the future and fear of reverting to old struggles. The long-term effects of Musk's actions became clear as Frank made decisions that would impact his life for years to come. He invested in his health, scheduling long-overdue medical checkups and dental work. He set aside money for future expenses, creating a safety net he had never had before. Most importantly, Frank found a renewed sense of purpose. He began volunteering at a local community center, using his experience to help other seniors navigate financial challenges. Frank's transformation wasn't just about money. It was about dignity restored and hope rekindled. His story became a testament to the power of kindness and the potential for a single act to change a life. Yet, as Frank's world expanded with new possibilities, the story was far from over. His encounter with Musk had set in motion a chain of events that would ripple out into the community, challenging perceptions and inspiring others to look at the world differently. As Frank's story spread, it ignited a debate that reached far beyond one man's generosity. What if Musk's impulsive act of kindness held the key to solving some of society's most pressing issues? The answer might surprise you and challenge everything you think you know about philanthropy. The encounter between a tech billionaire and an elderly flower seller brought several critical issues into sharp focus. Elderly poverty, often hidden from public view, suddenly became a topic of national conversation. Statistics revealed that millions of seniors struggle to make ends meet, living on fixed incomes that barely cover basic necessities. Musk's gesture highlighted the vast wealth inequality that exists in our society, where some individuals possess fortunes larger than entire countries' GDPs, while others struggle to afford food and shelter. This incident also sparked intense discussions about social responsibility, particularly among the ultra-wealthy. Critics argued that while Musk's act was commendable, it was merely a drop in the ocean compared to the systemic changes needed to address poverty and inequality. They pointed out that random acts of kindness, while heartwarming, do little to solve underlying societal problems. The tension between individual charity and systemic change became a central point of debate. Some praised Musk for his direct action, arguing that personal involvement is more effective than faceless donations. Others countered that billionaires should focus on using their influence to change policies and create lasting solutions rather than engaging in one-off acts of generosity. Comparisons to other tech billionaires' charitable efforts quickly emerged. Bill Gates' work in global health and Jeff Bezos' climate change initiatives were held up as examples of more structured approaches to philanthropy. However, Musk's spontaneous act resonated with many who felt it demonstrated a more human, relatable side of giving. The incident also raised questions about the potential for tech leaders to address social issues more directly. Could their problem-solving skills, honed in the fast-paced world of technology, be applied to tackle complex societal challenges? Many speculated about the impact if more Silicon Valley innovators turned their attention to issues like poverty, healthcare, and education. As the conversation evolved, anticipation built around whether this event would lead to more sustained efforts from Musk and his peers. Would we see a shift in how tech billionaires approach philanthropy? Or would this remain an isolated incident, lost in the constant churn of news cycles? The payoff came as initiatives inspired by Musk's act began to emerge. Musk himself announced a new foundation focused on supporting elderly individuals facing financial hardship. Other tech leaders followed suit, launching programs to address various social issues in their communities. Local businesses started pay-it-forward schemes, encouraging customers to pre-purchase goods for those in need. But the impact didn't stop there. The story of Frank and Musk continued to resonate, inspiring individuals from all walks of life to look for opportunities to make a difference in their own communities. As these ripples of kindness spread, it became clear that the true power of Musk's gesture lay not in the amount of money involved, but in its ability to awaken a sense of shared responsibility and compassion in others. While the world debated billionaire philanthropy, something remarkable was happening on Frank's street corner. Unnoticed by the media frenzy, a grassroots movement was taking root that would redefine what it means to be a good neighbor. In the days following Musk's encounter with Frank, a subtle shift began in the community. People who had rushed past the elderly flower seller for years suddenly paused, really seeing him for the first time. Conversations sprang up around kitchen tables and office water coolers. "Did you hear about Frank?" became a common refrain, followed by hushed discussions about other elderly vendors and struggling seniors in the area. This newfound awareness created a palpable tension. Would this surge of interest translate into real change, or would it fade as quickly as it had appeared? The community stood at a crossroads, teetering between inaction and the potential for meaningful transformation. Surprisingly, it was the younger generation that took the lead. A group of high school students inspired by Frank's story started a Seniors Supporting Seniors program. They organized weekly visits to elderly community members, offering companionship and helping with small tasks. Local businesses joined in, with cafes offering free coffee to seniors and grocery stores implementing senior hours with discounted prices. The impact on the community was profound. People who had lived as strangers for years began forming connections. Mrs. Johnson, a retired librarian who rarely left her apartment, found herself surrounded by new friends eager to hear her stories. Mr. Chen, who had struggled silently with his garden for years, now had a team of enthusiastic helpers every Saturday morning. As these grassroots efforts flourished, they challenged long-held assumptions about community and aging. Young professionals who had viewed their elderly neighbors as relics of a bygone era discovered wells of wisdom and experience. Retirees who had felt invisible and burdensome realized they had valuable contributions to make. The movement gained momentum, sparking curiosity in neighboring towns. Could this model of community care spread beyond its origins? Local news outlets picked up the story, featuring heartwarming tales of intergenerational friendships and renewed purpose among the elderly population. Concrete initiatives began to take shape. A local tech startup developed an app connecting seniors with volunteer helpers for everything from home repairs to grocery deliveries. The city council, taking note of the grassroots momentum, fast-tracked plans for a senior community center. Even the local school district got involved, integrating life story interviews with seniors into their history curriculum. Perhaps most significantly, Frank himself became a symbol of resilience and community spirit. No longer just the man who sold flowers in the rain, he was now a respected elder, sharing his experiences with youth groups and advising on senior outreach programs. As the community basked in the warm glow of their collective efforts, few realized that the story was far from over. An unexpected development was about to cast Frank and Musk's encounter in an entirely new light, challenging everything they thought they knew about the power of a single act of kindness. As the ripples of change spread through the community, Elon Musk found himself at a crossroads. The man who had revolutionized electric cars and dreamed of colonizing Mars now faced a challenge that no algorithm could solve. How would this encounter with Frank reshape the billionaire's worldview? For years, Musk had been laser-focused on technological innovation and ambitious projects. His success was measured in stock prices, rocket launches, and market disruption. But the simple act of buying flowers from an elderly man in the rain had unexpectedly shifted his perspective. In the weeks following the incident, Musk's public statements took on a different tone. During a tech conference, he surprised attendees by dedicating a significant portion of his keynote to discussing social responsibility. "We can't just build faster cars and bigger rockets," he said. "We need to build a society where everyone has the chance to thrive." This newfound social awareness created tension within Musk's companies. Some executives worried that shifting focus might impact their bottom line. Others saw an opportunity to redefine corporate success. Musk himself seemed to be grappling with these conflicting priorities, often pausing mid-sentence during interviews as if reconsidering his words. The encounter with Frank had humanized poverty and aging in a way that statistics never could. Musk began to explore how his companies could address these issues. Tesla announced a program to retrofit older homes with solar panels at reduced costs, targeting low-income seniors. SpaceX partnered with NGOs to use satellite technology for better elder care in remote areas. But perhaps the most significant change was in Musk's personal approach to philanthropy. He established the Frank's Flowers Foundation, dedicated to supporting elderly entrepreneurs. The foundation provided microloans, business mentorship, and technology training to seniors looking to start or grow small businesses. Musk's public image began to evolve. While still known for his ambitious tech projects, he was increasingly recognized for his efforts in social causes. He used his massive social media following to highlight issues affecting the elderly and economically disadvantaged. However, skeptics questioned whether this change was genuine or merely a PR move. Some pointed out that Musk's companies still faced criticism for labor practices and environmental impact. The tension between Musk's tech-driven ambitions and his newfound social conscience became a topic of heated debate in business circles. As months passed, concrete examples of Musk's shifted priorities emerged. He announced that Tesla would dedicate 10% of its annual profits to developing affordable electric vehicles for low-income communities. SpaceX launched a satellite program aimed at providing free internet access to underserved rural areas, with a focus on connecting isolated elderly populations. But the real test of Musk's transformation was yet to come. As he prepared to unveil his next major project, speculation ran wild. Would it be another breakthrough in space technology, a new electric vehicle, or something entirely unexpected that would bridge the gap between cutting-edge innovation and social responsibility? The world watched and waited, eager to see if this chance encounter on a rainy street corner had truly changed one of the most influential figures of our time. Little did they know, the final impact of this story was about to unfold in a way that would challenge everything we thought we knew about the power of compassion and the potential for change. We often think of change as something big and dramatic, but what if the key to transforming our world lies in the smallest of actions? As Musk's story spread, an unexpected ripple effect began to take shape, challenging everything we thought we knew about the nature of influence and impact. The encounter between Elon Musk and Frank, the elderly flower seller, offers profound lessons in compassion, challenging our assumptions and the incredible power of small actions. It's a story that resonates with universal themes, reminding us of our shared humanity in a world that often feels divided. At its core, this tale confronts us with a stark reality. How often do we walk past our own Franks without a second glance? In our rush to get through our daily lives, we miss countless opportunities to make a difference. The tension between our busy schedules and these moments of potential connection is palpable. We tell ourselves we don't have time, that someone else will help, or that our small gesture won't really matter. But Musk's simple act of kindness shatters these excuses. It challenges our preconceptions about wealth, age, and what it means to be truly successful. Here was one of the world's richest men, taking time out of his undoubtedly packed schedule to engage with a struggling senior citizen. It forces us to reconsider our own definitions of success and the responsibilities that come with privilege. This story also pushes us to question our assumptions about the elderly. How often do we dismiss older individuals as irrelevant or burdensome? Frank's determination to work despite his circumstances reminds us of the dignity and resilience of our senior citizens. So how can we apply these lessons in our own lives? It starts with awareness. The next time you're rushing through your day, take a moment to really see the people around you. That homeless person you usually ignore, the overworked cashier, or the lonely neighbor. They all have stories, struggles, and inherent worth. Small acts of kindness can take many forms. It might be as simple as a genuine smile and conversation with someone who seems down. Or perhaps you could offer to help an elderly neighbor with groceries or yard work. Even just taking the time to listen to someone's story without judgment can be incredibly powerful. What if we all committed to one intentional act of kindness each day? The potential for change is staggering. Imagine a world where compassion and connection are the norm rather than the exception. Where we see the humanity in each person we encounter, regardless of their status or circumstances. Already, viewers inspired by Musk and Frank's story are sharing their own acts of kindness. Sarah from Ohio started volunteering at a local senior center, discovering a wealth of wisdom and friendship. Mark in California initiated a pay-it-forward system at his coffee shop, spreading joy one cup at a time. These small ripples are growing into waves of positive change in communities around the world. As we reach the end of our story, it's clear that the impact of that rainy day encounter extends far beyond Musk and Frank. It serves as a powerful reminder that each of us has the ability to create positive change, one small act at a time. The question now is, how will you create your own ripple effect of kindness? Months after Elon Musk's chance encounter with Frank, the elderly flower seller, the ripples of kindness continue to spread. What started as a simple act has blossomed into a movement, touching lives far beyond that rainy street corner. Communities across the country have launched initiatives inspired by Frank's story. Senior outreach programs have seen a surge in volunteers, with many citing Musk's actions as their motivation. Local businesses have implemented pay-it-forward schemes, creating chains of generosity that stretch for weeks. Perhaps most remarkably, Musk himself has undergone a transformation. His companies now allocate significant resources to addressing elderly poverty and social isolation. The tech mogul frequently speaks about the importance of human connection in an increasingly digital world. A recent survey found that 68% of people who heard Frank's story reported making a conscious effort to be kinder in their daily lives. as one respondent put it. It made me realize that even small gestures can have a huge impact. So, as we reflect on this ongoing ripple effect, we're left with a question. How will you create your own wave of kindness in the world?